Et nous sommes avec Joyo qui fait le plaisir de nous donner une interview sur Rocket Baguette dans le Baguette Flash. Joyo, thank you very much for being with us. How are you, man?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you very much. We will begin with a few questions about the past. Let's begin with your rookie season. You were the last member of the initial trio of the Queso Moist team. What do you think today of that 21-22 season?
I mean, that's like my best season ever. Uh, I look back at it like with the happiest memories. Like, I don't know, there'll never be a team like it again. And even though like Vatira and Rise like eventually left, we all like made it to the top together. And like the reason we're here now is because of each other. So like I look back at it with good memories. Like we probably like could have won worlds and we didn't, but I'm still like really happy with it overall. It's the only reason I'm here now. So I'm really happy with it.
Is there things that you will change in regards to that season if you had the power to?
Mm, yeah, I think so. I think this goes for all of us, but like especially like I know I could as well. I think I would have put more effort in like by the end of the season. When we won in London, like it felt like we were on top of the world and it just felt like we couldn't lose. Like we
Mm.
just kept winning and it was kind of like a reality check. Like we got checked by Furia and before we had time to realize what happened, we'd already lost. So I think I would have wanted to put in more effort and like focus more at Worlds because I definitely got a bit complacent, I guess. Like I wasn't as hungry to win as I was at the very start.
Interesting, very strong words. You have always played, actually, since the until that season with French-speaking players. You had Vatira, Astral, Juicy. What's your relationship to France and the French Rocket League community?
I mean, I come from like six mans. Like a lot of players in my, I guess, like generation of players all came up playing in six mans. So I used to play six mans with Seiko, Vatira, and like people like that. They were like the main two I used to play with, Seiko and Vatira. And I don't know, I've always played with a lot of French people. I mean, not to mention the fact that they're all like insane at Rocket League. Like they dominate Europe, they dominate the world. They're really good. But yeah, I've always been used to playing with French people because I came from six mans, and I mean that's the main reason I wanted to team with Vatira. I played six mans with him, and he was just insane. And there's so many like random French talents that spawn in six mans and rank twos. It's like it's some like sometimes it's just impossible not to play with French people. They're just like too dominant. So.
Do you have any opinion on why the French are so good and so dominating on Rocket League?
Uh, I actually think that one of the big reasons might be because of like the first like the first like pros that became like really big like names in the game were like big inspirations. I guess like K-Dop and Fairy Peak and like even like Sure Set. I think like players like Alpha as well. There's a lot of like French people and like old and new French players that a lot of people like look up to and idolize. And so when there's players like at the start it was like K-Dop Fairy. When there's players like that to look up to, it gives like a whole like generation of new young French players to look up to them. And now like it's the people like Zen, Vatira, Alpha, Monkey Moon, and now there's like they're the new, I guess, people to idolize for the French community. But there's always been so many like great French players from the very start that people could look up to. So there's just a big French community.
But this season, no more French language players in your team. Is this something you specifically targeted and chose?
Uh, I think it makes it like easier for myself. Sometimes with French players, we struggled like with me and like maybe not Juicy and sometimes like it was mainly Vatira at the very start. Like we had a few like translation errors or like struggle with the language barrier. We didn't have much with Juicy and Astral, but Vatira we had a few like translation errors. It definitely makes it easier for me to go play with English people. But I never really chose it. Like I just think that it was like the right option at the right time for me with the players. Like Oski and Archie are really good and they were probably like my best option I'll have in a while. So I just went with them. But like I'm always happy to play with French people. It's just like the same way that like a lot of French people play together. It is a lot easier to go with English players because of like the language barrier and stuff.
Let's talk about this season now. So in the first split, you had mixed results. So good ones, one semifinal, one quarterfinals,
Yeah.
but also one missed top 16. So what happened in the first split for you guys?
Um, it's like it's really hard to explain, but we had like at the very start, like we made flip and spin before the season, and we like had a really good performance against Vitality. I think we lost to them 4-2, but we played well. And like it was looking really good. And top eight wasn't like very like that wasn't that bad, but like it already started to show signs of like falling apart. I also had a few personal issues with someone in the team. And I'm not gonna like get into that, but like a few personal issues and reasons why I wasn't, I guess, like comfortable on the team. And by the time the split ended, and like we had the obvious second regional where we missed like the whole entire regional, I just wasn't happy or like comfortable. Even with the top four, I was happy with, but like I just wasn't comfortable or happy, and I just decided it wasn't like the place for me anymore.
So did you went to Archie and Oski, or did they come to you?
Uh, well, actually, at the start, like before the season even started, Oski wanted me and Archie to team. Like he was like telling Archie, "Let's go team," and then telling me, "Let's go team." But I was like too scared to leave Moist. I guess like I was like comfortable. And obviously now, like thinking back, I probably should have took the risk, but I was like really comfortable on Moist and like had the security and like it was quite safe to stay and like get built around. But after the split ended because of like a few poor results, I can't remember who spoke to who first, but like me and Oski were just talking a lot, and eventually we just started talking about like why don't we just team? And my contract was nearly over, so like it was just the obvious option for me to be the one to leave.
I had a question about Moist. So what does it feel like leaving after 2 years almost at the club?
Uh, it's like it's way different. It's like sort of like changed how I like my mentality, I guess, because by the end of playing on Moist, I was sort of like I don't want to sound like egotistical, but like the star, like they always built around me, and like the teams were always built around me, and I made the decisions for a lot of rosters. Uh, but going into Oxygen, I'm not like the boss anymore. I'm just another player, and I like being a player. I don't like having all the control, and like there's a lot of pressure when that happens. So it's been like nice, refreshing to just be a player again.
Mm. So who is the captain? Who is making the calls, taking the decisions on Oxygen?
We all like give our opinion and thoughts, and we all speak like quite a lot. But I'd say like gameplay wise, normally comes from Snasky, like our coach, and then we discuss it together. Like he'll like give us ideas, and we'll talk about it. But the person that we sort of like rely on, I guess, like to help us through a lot of things is probably Archie. Like Archie's our, I guess, backbone of the team. Like he's the one that plays the most, I guess, safe, or like he sort of like covers for us. He's like a supporting player, and he like takes a lot of the criticism and like disrespect and hate for us. Like he's, I'd say he's like, if there was anyone to be the captain on the team, I would probably say it's Archie. But also like we all have different things that we bring. Like Oski has a really high energy and like he keeps us hyped up. Archie's like the laid back one that like will take all the, I guess, criticism, and like he'll just want us to feel good, and then I just sort of just play and do my thing. But like both of them have like different ways of like leading us, I guess.
Mm. What's it like playing with Oski? Because we think that both your gameplays are quite similar. Do you feel the same?
We're both like mechanical players, which is like a big similarity. But also like I think Oski plays a lot like faster than I do. I play quite like controlled and like take my time all the time with the ball. I'm always looking for like soft touches, where Oski's more like he like ball chases, but like in a good way. He like ball chases really hard. And we definitely are like similar in a lot of ways with like mechanics and stuff. But I think we're like different enough to where we can bring different things to the team. But like Oski's insane at the game. He's so good.
What are your objectives this season? Are you focusing for this season only, or maybe something more long term?
We want this to be like a long-term project. I mean, looking to the future, like I can't really see myself finding another, like being on another roster. I guess like I haven't thought about it much, but I can't see myself like going anywhere else from here. Like this is the team I want to like put in the effort with and grind with. We want to make the major, obviously. Like we're in a good position for it, and if we make it over BDS, then we can make worlds too. But like I think we also like want to manage expectations and know it's going to be like tough, and we're working towards it. But we are definitely focused on the bigger picture and long term.
Are you friends outside? I guess you know each other outside the game. Do you get along very well?
Yeah, for sure. Like Oski and Archie are closer friends than me and Archie and me and Oski, but I think that I don't want to speak for them, but on the roster with Ixo, they were all really close, and sometimes like it affected them because they were too comfortable, I guess. Whereas we're good friends. Like I just boot camped with them, and it was really fun, and I really enjoyed it. But I didn't speak to them as much until teaming with them, and I think it's been like I guess we can like separate being friends and also being teammates. We can like focus and work, but we can also like have fun at the right times. But yeah, like I'm good friends with them, and I think I've gotten a lot closer with them because of boot camp.
Let's talk about the last Open qualifier last weekend. So you reached the semifinals, beating Carmine Corp and coming very close to beating Gentlemates as well. First, what changed between Friday, during which you struggled in Swiss round, and Saturday when you beat Carmine Corp?
Uh, we all just spoke, and we felt like in the Swiss that we like first of all when we played Carmine Corp in Swiss, we felt like we could have won, but we just weren't like clinical enough. We didn't take our chances, and like Carmine deserved to win. They took the chances better and they played better, but we knew we could beat them. And then for every other team, we were sort of. I remember Archie spoke about it. He told us that he thinks we should see every team like Carmine Corp, and because we were like, we'd be like really locked in and focused. And then if we started winning, we'd sort of like, we wouldn't stop trying, but we'd like not stay as disciplined as we did against Carmine, and we would sort of like let like stop, I guess, trying as hard to focus on what we've been working on. But then on the Saturday and even the Sunday, like we made sure that we were gonna be like the whole 100% through as like focused as possible, like nothing, no mistakes and nothing like stupid that we'd regret where we like don't focus for a second or like lose our like discipline or like game plan. And we sort of spoke and we just knew that we just had to put our mind to it really hard and not, I guess, like take our mind off of winning. Like we just made sure to focus the entire time, and we played. If you noticed in the series, we played quite like slow, and we dealt with a lot of pressure. We just tried to outsmart them, and
Mm.
I guess play. They're very good at it as well, where they defend very well, like especially because of Vatira. And then they just score like every chance they get, and we tried to do what they did against them, and it worked. I don't think it'll work every time because there'll be a day where they're clinical as well. But for that day, it definitely worked, and we were just super locked in.
Mm. Does it have a special taste to beat your two former Queso teammates and Moist teammates, Veteran Rise? Do you have extra motivation when you play against them?
Uh, I'd say a little bit, yeah. I don't like have any bad blood with any of them. I'm like friends with both of them still, and like I respect both of them a lot. But I mean, they won't understand how it feels for me, I guess, because they beat me every time since they left me, nearly, except for one against Vatira
Yeah.
in Rotterdam. But other than that, I lost to them every time. So it's quite rewarding to like finally get one on them, and it's nothing like personal. I don't think they think it's personal either, but it's one of those like I guess mental blocks where like you just want to get that one win to show that you still can compete with your like past teammates, I guess.
So then on Saturday you came very close to beating Gentlemates. What happened? Why didn't you close that series?
Um, I think that me and Archie are like really, I guess, unhappy with ourselves because we know we could have brought more. I think Oski played amazing. Oski played really well on that day, and I think if anyone watched the series, they'll know how good Oski played. Me and Archie had a few chances that we could have scored or could have done better, but we just weren't feeling it on the day. And I think we still played really well as a team, and we showed that we're like not another joke of a team that will just get destroyed by every French team. But like we can definitely compete. I know Archie was really unhappy with a few chances he missed. I know I was unhappy with a few like goals I trolled, but we definitely still showed that we could win. But Gentlemates just were more composed. I guess they were more. You could tell they were experienced. I mean, they're the major champions. They were way more like comfortable under pressure
Mhm.
than we'd seen before. So we sort of just like folded to ourselves. We kind of just like when we couldn't score, we'd get desperate to score, and then we'd concede off of like a counter attack because of it. Like it wasn't. I don't know. They played well, but it still did feel like if we just finished our chances, we would have won.
Mm. Question about Juicy. You were his teammates last season. What do you think of his progression this last year?
I always knew that GC could be a really good player. I'm not gonna act like I knew he'd win a major this fast, to be honest, because I didn't know. But I knew he could be good. Uh, but I've always had this thing for like trying to find young talent. I mean, if you see like some of the players I pick up, I mean, Itachi will know because he keeps stealing my French teammates. Itachi keeps looking at the moist French player and taking them and winning majors with them. But yeah, I mean, Juicy's is like unbelievable. He's like always been so talented individually. And when we first picked him up, like me, him, and Astral, I think a lot of people could tell he had no experience. But like, I still could see like sometimes he would just do something that was so surprising, like so crazy that nobody else had seen him do it. He's so good at the ball. Like there was always something about him, even in like rank twos. I remember in rank twos, I used to think he was so good. And like to be honest, I don't want to like act like I predicted anything because I didn't think he'd get this good this fast. But by the time we were at Worlds and we played like FaZe and G2, he started playing amazing, and I could just tell, like, even though it was probably our last tournament together, that he was going to go on to big things. But I'm still really surprised by like what happened.
Mm. Let's now enter the last part of the interview, more general about you and the scene. First,
Yeah.
you're often considered as the freestyler of RLCS, one of the most mechanical players. What do you think of this reputation?
I think it's good and bad in some ways. Like it's a double-edged sword. Like sometimes people will say that like I'm untouchable and the greatest to ever like play the game with the ball, and I don't think that's true. And then some people will say I'm really overrated because I have a lot of fans who like enjoy watching how I play because I'm quite like creative and unique. But I mean, it's just how I play, and I don't hate the reputation because I mean, it's kind of true. I try things that nobody else tries, but there's other players as well who are so mechanical. I mean, a lot of times I get compared to Zen mechanically, and I don't think it's a bad reputation to have, but I know a lot of people think I'm very overrated because there's a lot of like fanboys of the way I play and stuff. But like, that's just gonna happen when you're like a flashy player. But I mean, I understand why I have the reputation, and it makes sense. Just sometimes I think people forget that I also know how to play Rocket League professionally as well. I don't just go on the pitch and start going for clips all game.
Speaking about the fans, you always look very comfortable on the stage, in front of cameras, in front of the audience. You play with them. Yeah, what do you think of this? Your perception of fame and entertaining large audiences?
Well, at the start, like on Queso, I was really scared, and I got like pushed to do a few interviews, and it was really scary. But I got used to it, and like by the time I was on Moist and like the past season, I've literally done every interview for like the team other than maybe one, and I'm just so used to it now because like nobody else on my teams really wanted to do the interviews. With Cash and Juicy, nobody took them. With
Mhm.
Resi and Oli, I took all of them. And like the wave thing in Rotterdam, where I started waving at the camera, a lot of stuff like that. So I just made me more comfortable in front of the crowd, and I sort of just realized that everyone who's like watching, or like I guess a part of the scene, is also just another person. Like there's no different from me. Everyone is just a person, and I don't know. I've just gotten more comfortable with it over the few years I've been playing. Like I even did casting for Hogan mode and stuff, and I don't know. I've just gotten really used to it.
Questions about RLCS today? What do you think of the new format compared to previous seasons?
Mm, I hear that it's a transition year or something from like the people in charge at Epic or something, and to like trust what's happening. But there's still like some questions I have for it. Like I don't understand why every team has to qualify and like play in, or at least like some of the teams should be auto qualified to day three. Like in my opinion, I don't really know why. For example, why KC have to play day one and day two of quals. And I don't know. I did prefer the auto invites, and I think it's probably better for orgs and teams for like security. But I also understand it's like I guess a transition year is what they said. I mean, I suffered to the format a bit by missing the regional. Like we definitely should have won, but we still had some hard matchups. We had Solary and Williams Resolve in like the lower bracket of the qualifiers, but that's probably more like a main event game. But I think there's good things about the format, and there's a few like players or teams that come up from it that are like really impressive. But I think it also removes the consistency and like the teams appearing. Like if you look at the regionals and like teams that have qualified, the bottom 8 teams that qualify is literally looks like it's been randomly picked from the bracket.
Mm.
Like it's so many random teams, and like there's good players on each team, but it just feels like if you get a good bracket, you can make main event if you're at a certain level. Compared to like some teams are good enough to make it every time, but they get a bad bracket and they miss it.
Do you have any concerns about the future of Rocket League and the esports?
Um, I mean, the way they handle some like in-game issues is quite bad. Like, there's so many boosters in the game right now, and there's so many like DDoSers, win traders. The servers are dying. Um, I mean, I hope that they try and fix them, or they are trying to fix them. But the future of the game for like a lot of pros has been heavily questioned for like the past few months. I know that like Vatera and like Atto and Zen have been tweeting about it, like talking about going on strike and stuff because I mean, it does look like sometimes Epic Games don't care about the game. And even though they might be trying, like we just don't get any communication and no like the updates they bring out, they do collaborations with Star Wars before they fix the servers,
Mm.
and it's definitely like questionable. Like I think the game will survive for like quite a bit longer, but that's just because of the community. I don't think Epic are doing much to help the game.
Last question of this interview. Do you still love Rocket League?
Yes. Yeah, I do still love Rocket League. I mean, I can check right now. I have 120 hours past 2 weeks,
Mm.
and I play every day, like 8 hours plus. I mean, I think you can sort of tell by like the way I play that I've put so much time in. Like, I just love trying new things. I'm like obsessed with playing the game, and like I guess it's like hunger and obsession has like made me who I am. But yeah, I like I mean, I get on every day and I actually like enjoy playing. And there's a few pros that can't say that, but like if I can sit in free play for like 4 hours and be happy, like with what I'm doing, like the game's so fun to like experiment with. There's no other game like it. It's one of a kind, and I still do love the game. Like there's times where I get annoyed at the game, and like especially the way that Epic have handled it recently, it annoys me. But that is because I love it, and I think I still do love the game.
I think this is something we all share, this frustration and this love.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joyo. Do you have a shout out to the French community that will be watching this interview?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I didn't even know that non-French speakers did interviews for Rocket Baguette, so thank you very much. I appreciate having the chance to speak my mind on a
You
platform because I've never really spoke in front of a big French audience. Thank you very much.
You are the first one that we
Oh,
do.
really?
So yeah, after this weekend's performance, you guys played amazing,
Thank you.
and we wish you the best of luck. Sadly, if you qualify for the major and worlds, it means one of our teams won't go there. But well, considering what we saw this weekend from you guys, I think you will deserve it. Best of
Thank
luck
you very much.
for the rest of the split and the rest of the season, Joyo, and thank you very much for spending this time with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.